I've heard you have some questions for me about my business and about the things you've been learning about in this stage. So go on, ask me everything you wish.
In the stage, we saw some characteristics that entrepreneurs have. One of them is test and correct and test again. I would like to know what was the first thing they correct.
Well, actually, the first thing we corrected were the processes, to automate them, because this ensures the safety of whoever is working there. Well, actually, they're not going to be working there anymore. That's what we thought about the fact that they weren't exposed to those sort of dangers anymore. And this also helped us to accelerate the processes and led us to having more efficiency.
Do you think that a great team is necessary for entrepreneurship?
Yes, of course it's necessary for entrepreneurship. I think in order for you to be successful, you need a first-class team that you can work with. Like you need someone who is on the same page as you are, so that way it's a lot easier for you and your team to achieve those goals that you have.
There are entrepreneurs who decide to form their team based on their way of being, looking for people with similar or totally different attitudes. How did you decide to form your team and why?
I decided to form a team with people with very different thoughts. I think it is the best way to form a good work team since we complement each other very well. I prefer to form it this way because we all have different approaches, different perspectives. We've all been through different stuff, and that kind of like shapes the way we think. And this is also very helpful when it comes to providing new ideas for the business.
How do you ensure that you are an inspiring example for your team?
Well, I actively engage with my team. I show genuine interest in their growth and their well-being. I'm always very concerned about how they're doing personally, not just as my employees. And I encourage them to think like owners, to see themselves as owners, not just as employees. I involve them within the decision-taking processes. And mostly, one thing that's very important for me is that I show them genuine information. I have always been very transparent about my information or about anything that's going on. I'm a very transparent person, so I think that's a key point for me and for my business. So whoever's working with me, know that you're gonna have everything clear. There's not gonna be any secrets or any things you don't know about.
In the process of developing his work team, how did manage to get his collaborators to be so familiar with the company and interested in it?
Well, look, the truth is that I like to motivate my work team using the 6 Ds. I've already said something related to it. This consists of 6 ways to form a healthy and pleasant environment with my employees. I do this by attributing part of the success to them. I set an example. I also like to include their proposals and their opinions in my own personal stuff, my information. If I'm going to have a meeting, I like to consider their proposals and their opinions, and then when I'm in the meeting, I like to explain them to other people, to tell them, oh, my employee had this great idea. I think that's very important.
Tell me 2 strategies you use as a leader to inspire and motivate your team.
Well, that's a tough one, Let me think about it. Well, I think I always try to see the positive side of everything, trying to ensure that the team spirit does not decline, like that they're always motivated to do their best. And the other strategy is to always recognize the good work, They recognize the fact that they put a lot of themselves to it and recognize it through awards like maybe a diploma or some sort of financial incentive. I think that's also very important.
Do you think technical training is as important for the job as most people say?
Yes, but not entirely, Actually, approximately 70% of your knowledge you have acquired it throughout your lifetime, and the other 30% comes from previous technical training, so I don't think it's that important.
In an industry as structured as the steel industry, what role does the critical thinking play in the strategic decision making in your business?
Critical thinking is fundamental because it allows us to analyze and to evaluate all the variables before making important decisions. For example, if we were to make we were to open a new production plant, a new workplace, we don't just rely on the current demand. We analyze factors such as operating costs, availability of raw materials, local regulations, environmental impact, and competition. In other words, we don't rush, we question every aspect, we pay a lot of attention to detail, and that's always been our method.
At the time of applying the 6 Ds, which are the ones that have worked the most and have given you the most results?
They all work in reality. They're not that many, so I think they're all very important. They're just 6. But the ones I like the most is giving them part of the success, giving them credit for the stuff they did. I like to be transparent about whatever's going on. I like to tell them things the way they are, to be always clear about the information, and also to see them as my friends, not just as employees. I think those are my 3 favorites, to say it like that, but I think they all work.
How do you define innovation in your business, and what steps do you take to implement it?
Innovation in my business is about creating value by offering something new, something comfortable for our clients, something that's improved, or something different from what already exists in the market. We take the needs of our clients very seriously, and we collect them, and then we improve our processes and our products in order for them to be more comfortable for the clients.